October 15th every year is observed as Global Hand Washing Day. Research reveals that people get infected with many viruses and bacteria when they come in contact with food and substances that are contaminated through infected hands. This no doubt underscores the importance attached to hand washing by the global community. For this year's theme of the commemoration, Clean Hands, a Recipe for Health, focuses on the links between hand washing and food. This, of course, includes hygiene and nutrition. The importance of hand washing, therefore, cannot be overemphasized, especially as it relates to keeping food safe, preventing diseases, and helping children grow strong. Hand washing is generally an integral part of living. Why then has it become necessary to have a sustained campaign on hand washing? Who should spearhead this campaign? How can food be made safer in places where water is scarce? These are some of the issues we'll be looking at on the program tonight. Welcome. My name is Dennis Adigunloye. The program is Nigeria Today, and we are looking at hand washing as it relates to food, hygiene, and nutrition. With me in the studio to discuss these issues are Ms. Dr. Priscilla Achakpa, National Coordinator, Water Supply and Sanitation Collaborative Council. You're welcome to Nigeria Today.
Thank you very much. Good evening, viewers.
And also with me in the studio is Mr. Nampet Chuktu, Program Manager, Rural Sanitation and Hygiene Promotion in Nigeria. You're also welcome to the program.
Thank you. Good evening.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. Yeah. All right. Obviously, today is Global Hand Washing Day, as commemorated by the United Nations. Let's come to you first, Dr. Priscilla. What are the targets for hand washing coverage in Nigeria, and where are we at the present time?
Good evening, everyone. First and foremost, let me congratulate ourselves for this very important day of the Global Hand Washing Day, which is coming at a no better time than now, that our country and indeed our children and our communities are facing a lot of challenges that has to do with the issues of cholera, has to do with the issues of several things that are happening out there as a result of our activities, especially in the area of hygiene and sanitation. Water and Sanitation Collaborative Council is a UN agency that basically tries to look at the issues of sanitation and hygiene in the context of the fact that if human beings are to live healthy, the issues of sanitation and hygiene must be adequately addressed. In this regard, the targets for Nigeria, which the ministry and the government itself has set out to achieve, is that by 2025, Nigeria should be open defecation free. This is because the challenges that are facing in the area of water and sanitation are very key and very important, which affects the health of our children, the health of our families, and the health of everybody. So Nigeria, in fact, the Federal Ministry of Water Resources has declared a state of emergency in the sector of water and sanitation. And this is going to be launched by the President himself in the coming days, because they feel that this is a very important area and that must be adequately addressed.
All right, let me bring in Mr. Nampet. We are commemorating 10 years of this Global Awareness Day on hand washing. Dr. Priscilla has said that there's going to be there's been a state of emergency declared on hand washing. Exactly. What does this say to you about how far we've come in the last 10 years, given this day was declared by the UN a decade ago?
Yes, thank you very much. Progress has been slow, but I think has been quite deliberate, and we can see concerted efforts. We have reviewed policies at the federal government level. Approaches have been strengthened. There's a partnership for WASH that the Federal Ministry of Water Resources refers to as the PWASH There's a strategy. There's a roadmap for elimination of open defecation.
Yep.
And so we see clear roadmaps being developed, government working hand in hand with development partners, which we are proud to identify with. And every year it's getting bigger, it's getting better. Yeah. We're not looking at just one day that we celebrate and come do some hand washing and that ends it, but there's concerted effort on hygiene education and getting people, mothers, the girl child, and children education to be improved upon.
You said, well, it's actually an issue I was going to touch on a bit later, but since you brought it up, you said it's not going to be something that's just going to be focused on the day,
yes,
but it's going to be a sustained campaign for the foreseeable future. What is your agency, or what are agencies going to do to change the narrative with regards to this particular issue of prolonged and sustained awareness campaigns or sensitization on the importance of hand washing?
So in very specific terms, there's been a lot in terms of hygiene education. Okay. As development partners engage communities, it's not about just supplying water. Yeah. It's about how do you go about hygiene, care around water, taking water from the point of collection to the house, storage. There's a lot happening in terms of the water sanitation and hygiene programs going on. When you talk about open defecation, you also, our programs are focused on getting people to realize, what do you do after you come out of the toilet? What is the impact? What's the transmission? You know, so there's a lot of discourse. Things that we in the past would shy away from. Menstrual hygiene management. It's become an open discourse now that it's important that there's adequate water supply for the woman and the girl child. And also, what do they do? How do you dispose of menstrual materials? These are the things that are... So there's been a lot of discourse and getting people to understand. Education is power, information is power, they say.
It sure is.
And just to add to what Nampet has said, for us as WSCC, we see this as a very important aspect that we must key into, and creating awareness to the generality of the public is very important, but especially to the gay child. And for us, we have decided that it's very important for us to get this institutionalized, and therefore sometimes in August, together with the Federal Minister of Women Affairs, we were able to submit a memo during their council meeting about the menstrual hygiene management, because this is an area that has been grossly neglected. But of course, submitting that memo and in partnership with the Federal Minister of Water Resources and Federal Minister of Women Affairs, which the memo has been passed, which means that every state in this Nigeria must address the issue of menstrual hygiene management. And this goes to say that it's not just about schools, but also about the communities, and about womanhood, and about manhood. If the men who marries these girls who have the children, the girl child, do not care to know what their menstrual cycle is and how they try to address it, then this is the time for them to begin to key into. So education cuts across every sector. It's not just in schools, but also at community, in the offices, in every aspect of our life. So the issue of global hand washing, the issues of sanitation, the issues of hygiene is very paramount to us as the MSCC, but also we feel that this is an area that awareness must be sustained in creating. But secondly, during the MDGs, we did not have a specific target. But the SDGs have made it possible for us to have specific target, Goal 6, which is on water and sanitation. And of course, Goal 6.2 is specifically about sanitation and hygiene. This has given us the impetus to be able to know that this is a call for everybody to key into.
All right. A couple of years back, there was at the height of the Ebola outbreak, there was a intense sustained campaign on hand washing, which seems to have lost momentum as the country won the battle, so to speak, against that outbreak. Are you saying that now there is a greater sense of awareness and urgency with regards to sensitizing the public on these issues?
Of course, the issues of sensitization and awareness cannot be overemphasized at this point, because the Ebola showed us very clearly that if we're able to wash our hands, at every point in time, it was going to save lives. So the issues of global hand washing is just to amplify what the Ebola came to say. And now there's a greater need for everybody to know that there's the need for us to wash our hands at every point in time, not just when we're going to toilet, not just when we are preparing to eat, not just when we are finished eating, but every time we shake hands with people, every time we come in contact with animals, every time we come in contact with everything under the earth, that we must wash our hands. Because even when you wash your hands, give yourself the next 10 minutes and you go back to wash your hands again, you will see the kind of deaths that are coming in, and you begin to wonder, where did this generate from? Of course, it comes from the air. It comes from all sources of human beings. So it is important for us to continue to imbibe that habit of global hand washing, not just when there's Ebola, but every point in time. When we wash our hands, we are preventing Ebola, and we are preventing so many other diseases that might have come to us.
All right, you've both touched on the younger children, NAMPETs. The children are seen to be the most vulnerable when it comes to this issue of hand washing. You know, children are carefree. They don't really know what kind of germs or hazards or bacteria they're exposing themselves to, maybe in the schools or on the road or whatever the case may be. How can this push be, imbibed into the minds of children in particular?
Oh yeah, thank you. I think for the children, the statistics is really alarming, especially for under 5s. Annually, we really lose. Nigeria loses over 60,000 children over the age of under the age of 5 to preventable water and sanitation related diseases. However, United Purpose, the organization I work for, with support from the Federal Ministry of Water Resources and our corporate partners, PZ Cousins, have been engaging children in schools, getting this younger generation, making it a habit through song and dance and entertainment. We sing about it, we wash the hands, we dance. Children take it. You come back 6 months, 1 year after, and once they see you, they remember things around a song or an event, and it's growing. That targeting that group, at that age, I think for us is quite key, and we've pushed to get the commemoration of these days, the Global Hand Washing Day, to be to generate some form of sustainability on its own. So kids compete, we bring some form of competition, and so
a way to let them, learn the value, the importance of the...
Exactly.
Right, yes, that's quite a good idea. Well, we'll continue our conversation shortly, but let's take a break now and hear what some members of the public say on this quite important issue of hand washing.
I wash my hands every time, when I want to eat, when I get into the restroom. Well, before I touch anything that has to enter my mouth, I have to wash my hands very well and ensure that there are no germs because of our health.
Not too much. Anytime I need to do something, maybe I want to eat or I want to do something important. Like I'm going home now. When I get home, I want to go to the kitchen, I wash my hands. So it's not like... It's when demands call for it, I wash my hands.
If I don't wash my hand and I probably tend to see something I want to eat, I might not have a spoon, for example. Probably I want to take fruits. there might be no fork there or toothpick to use to eat it, so I can just use my hand. So if I use my hand and it's not clean, definitely I will have one bacteria or the other.
I've not been doing that. I think I'll start to do that, but I know if I go to the toilet, I'll wash hand.
There are so many implications of not washing hands, because in our generation now we have so many diseases that you can easily contact them through maybe through contaminated water or through air even. So that's why it's important for someone, it's hygienic for someone to be washing hands often.
To me, I feel each time I'm busy or doing something that I should wash my hand. But if I'm not, my hands not dirty or this and that.
It's either when I've gone to the toilet and or when I want to eat, or sometimes if I touch my car, battery side and other places, that then I wash my hand.
Welcome back. The program is Nigeria Today, and we're discussing Global Hand Washing Day, and our guests are still with me in the studio. Judging by some of those comments, would you say that the level of awareness on the part of Nigerians, I know it's just a few people that were interviewed there, but would you say the level of awareness leaves a lot to be desired, or are you impressed with some of the comments you heard?
I really am impressed with the comments that are coming out from Nigerians. But I would have loved to hear more comments from the children, because they say when you catch them young, it never gets out of their head. So I would have really loved to see what the children have to say about hand washing. But that notwithstanding, I'm really impressed to hear that Nigerians are really talking about hand washing and the importance of hand washing and the hygienic aspect of hand washing. This goes to show that even when Ebola comes today, Nigerians will embrace the aspect of hand washing, and of course the issues of cholera and the rest of them. It is important that, especially for those that are watching us today, they should know that there is no alternative than hand washing, because the amount of money you spend in the hospitals when you don't do the right thing will tell you that I mean has implication to your own economic aspect of it as well. So it's very important that Nigerians are talking about the issues of about hand washing on these days.
It's far cheaper to wash your hands and be disease free than to expose yourself and have to spend countless amounts of money. Okay, Nampet, let's talk about public places. Would you say, in your opinion, that public places encourage a hand washing culture in terms of facilities provided for events and the like, that kind of thing? Would you say they provide enough facilities?
No, I would say no. I think we're losing it since the Ebola scare, and people, if you go to your average hotel or your eating place, you realize that you have to ask, or they bring water and it's also not running water. You go for an event and it's a buffet and you can't, you have to go to the restroom to get water to wash your hands. We're definitely, the consciousness around the frequent occurrences of cholera, or, in parts of this country, sometimes jogs us back to reality when people have diarrhea.
Should it be like that? When it takes something serious to happen before?
No. So this is where global days such as today, October 15th, is key for advocacy in terms of policy. Government needs to see the need, private sector also. When facilities are put in place, these important things need to be factored in. And so this is the opportunity for us as development partners to raise awareness both at the policy level but also in terms of the education and the information.
All right.
And this is where I will say that the civil society organizations, networks such as civil society on water and sanitation plays a very key role. Where the development partners cannot get there, the civil society should be able to take it on board and begin to create awareness to the generality of the public. When it was Ebola, it was declared as a state of emergency, and everybody saw it as a point of making sure that the campaign spread like wildfire. So the Global Hand Washing Day should not just be on the October 15th, but it should be something that is an everyday affair. And this should be imbibed in our everyday life system of doing things. Every minute of our life, we should see it as Ebola Day. And therefore, we should be able to tell our brothers and sisters in the rural communities, in the urban communities, in the semi-urban communities, that it is important for us to wash our hands. Because Ebola is still coming back. We have heard in some quarters that in some parts of Africa, Ebola has re-emerged again. Yeah. So for us to continue to sustain the issues of hand washing cannot be overemphasized. It's not just about the Global Hand Washing Day, which is 15th of every October, but every day must be a Global Hand Washing Day for us as citizens of Nigeria.
That point can certainly not be emphasized. Nampet, let's talk about like rural communities now. What can be done in terms of those who live in the rural areas where water is a scarce commodity? What steps have been taken to bring this crucial message to those in the rural areas and satellite towns?
Okay, yeah. So for rural areas, our approach has been key in terms of linking it to the critical times that you need to wash your hands. Yeah. So first, before you eat, before you prepare food, and at those times you definitely need water. Then if you're serving food, you would have water along with it. Yes, we agree that there's scarcity of water, but there's always that essential part of the water. You wouldn't have a meal without water, as difficult as it is. So we focus on that. We focus also on after defecation, because we're linking it with the disease burden that can quickly be attributed to that. Then Dr. Achakpa also mentioned, we talked earlier about impact on the pocket on money, and they say it's a preventable vaccine. These are linkages. We're linking these the implications of not washing hands to your health, and your health has impact on your economy, you know, and it has impact on your productivity. So these are the approaches we've been using through our programs in the community-led total sanitation for people to be conscious of this. Yes, I have little water, it's not adequate, but that hand washing is crucial. Crucial. Yes.
All right, in the limited time, just in, let's say, 30 seconds, Priscilla, just tell us what you hope to see by this time next year on this issue.
Well, Nigeria has targeted that by 2025 is going to be open defecation free.
Yeah.
This means that the issues of hand washing, the issues of hygiene, the issues of sanitation are all encompassing. And therefore, by next year, this time around, I want to see Nigerians discuss more openly, especially from the rural perspective of it, talking to us about hand washing and telling us the impact it has had on them, especially that as we speak here, the awareness it has created to many Nigerians that are listening to us today.
All right, on that note, I would like to thank Dr. Priscilla Achakpa, National Coordinator, Water Supply and Sanitation Collaborative Council. Thank you for your input. And also Mr. Nampet Chuktu, Program Manager, Rural Sanitation and Hygiene Promotion in Nigeria. And to you, our viewer, we thank you as always for taking the time to be with us. And remember that you can watch any episode of Nigeria Today on the website on your screen. And as usual, we'll be back again same time tomorrow for another edition of the program. I am Dennis Adegunloye. Thanks for watching.